There was silence all around. A tense calm dominated the atmosphere, a lighting on the air, announced an unstoppable phenomenon. Here comes the perfect storm.
Redemption, international repatriation.
No one knows.
Africa for the Africans. There's a town and us abroad.
Emmanuel Smith.
Born and unborn.
First life in
Ethiopian Congress. Moving on that international Congress. Moving on from lowland to highland, over mountain, rocks and valleys. We are gonna live our wonderland. I and I, we are gonna wear them in the land. We are gonna sing and shout. We are gonna praise for us. For the Congress moving on. That Ethiopian.
The conquering lion shall break every chain. Ethiopia Royal Nations Wealth Kingdom. Ethiopia Poor People National and International Freedom Lead Government. Melchizedek Righteous Kingdom. Black Supremacy Government for the poor and have-nots. United Black Wealth Sovereign Nation. Lord of Hosts, the I Am. Repatriation internationally. The Fifth Kingdom of Jesus stand for equality and justice for all people. Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress Church of Salvation. The Sabbath to be kept holy. Freedom Redemption International Repatriation. The Poor People Government internationally through human rights. Black Congress, King of Salem. The people above all kingdoms stand governmental, statical, parliamental, churchical, and sabbatically. Formerly a 54B Spanish Town Road, now headquartered at 10 miles, Bull Bay, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Mission of the King, victory of good over evil.
We are all his children. Ever turn the heart of God unto the Father retirement in Christ and good every day. And the Father unto us. I don't want to see the rain upon Lord. Sit up on your rainbow, circle town. Till I say I.
Welcome on board. We are sailing on the perfect storm through prophecy and history. Selassie, Jah, Rastafari. This is the Ethiopia, Africa, Black International Congress, Church of Salvation, with our worthy founder, leader, president, God and King, the Right Honorable King Emmanuel Charles Edwards, the Black Christ in flesh, Jehovah, Jah, Rastafari. We do give thanks for life unto our mighty and lovely life giver, the Black Christ in flesh. Marcosai, Selassie, Jah, Rastafari. We do give thanks for the 1 in 3, the 3 in 1, our prophet, priest and king. 3 in 1 and 1 in 3. Jah, Rastafari. My Lord and Empress, we are live today, the 3rd of December of 2013. Our email address is blackkingradiostation@hotmail.com. Send your message and take part in this program. The voice of the people is the voice of God. Selassie, Jah, Rastafari.
We are voluntary agitating
Today, in the perfect storm, an interview with the Honorable Priest James Wayne of the ABIC. We will be reasoning and remembering the Honorable Empress Rosa Parks and the event that took place the 1st of December of 1955 in the United States of North America. Also an interview with the Honorable Priest Asukel of the ABIC Church of Salvation. And Nyahbinghi music to shake the pillars of Rome, earthquake, lightning and thunder. Selassie, Jah, Rastafari. And first, we remember yesterday, 2nd of December, was declared by the United Nations the International Day for the Abolition of Slavery. The 2nd of November marks the day of the adoption by the General Assembly of the United Nations Convention for the Suppression of the Traffic in Person and of the Exploitation of the Prostitutions of Others, and the Resolution 3174 of the 2nd of December 1949. The focus on these days is on eradicating contemporary forms of slavery such as trafficking in persons, sexual exploitation, the worst form of child labor, forced marriage, and the forced recruitment of children for use in armed conflict. In 2007, the United Nations marked the 200th anniversary of the abolition of the transatlantic slave trade on the 25th of March, and in 2008, the International Day of Remembrance of the Victims of Slavery and the Transatlantic Slave Trade became an annual observance. Modern slavery, forced labor, still traps more than 20 million people around the world in different forms, including debt bondage, forced begging, or trafficking. According to Beth Adris, head of the ILO's Special Action Program to combat forced labor, one of the main problems in the fights against modern slavery is now to identify victims of this crime. The ILO plays a key role in training institutions to take legislative actions that enable societies to implement and enforce law that make modern slavery a crime. And now we continue with an interview to the Honorable Priest Wayne, my Lord and Empress. Holy Manuelai, Selassie, Jah, Rastafari, blessed love, my Lord and Empress, Black King Radio Station, broadcasting 24/7 Nyahbinghi music to bring down the walls of Babylon. In this block of the program, we have a special guest with an interview. My Lord, the Honorable Priest James Wayne of the Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress. My Lord, blessed love, welcome to the program.
So blessed love, my Lord, and give thanks again to be on the program. First and foremost, I want to say give thanks to life. Give thanks to our mighty life giver, our God in three persons, prophet, priest, king of black supremacy, and righteousness of salvation. Give thanks greatly for all their goodness, their love, and give thanks to their mercy towards I and I, Most High, Alright. Yeah, give thanks, as we say, for the Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress, Church of True Divine Salvation, which stands with our worthy founder leader, our president, our God and our King in flesh, the Most Right Honorable King Emmanuel Charles Edward. Give thanks to the Black Christ in flesh and man. Holy Emmanuel I, Rastafari. Rastafari. My Lord, give thanks to the Honorable Priest Frederica, the host of the program, and give thanks to all the viewers, all the listening ears. I hope this moment of interview can shed some light on the particular topic that we are here to discuss. So I wouldn't continue any further, but allow the Honorable Priest to proceed further on. My Lord.
My Lord, Honorable Priest James Wayne, give thanks for the word sound from the eye. And yes, we, as members of the Ethiopia, the EABIC, we work with history and prophecy, and we check the calendar, and we see that now is a new anniversary of some historic event related to the liberation, of the black man in the Western world. And we are talking about a woman and a time and a country. This woman is Rosa Parks. The country is the United States of North America, and the event is the topic of this interview. My Lord.
My Lord, blessed Lord. Yeah, so we give thanks again, because we know the struggle and this particular event that took place in 1965 and December the 1st, it marked a transformation in the whole history of the United States concerning segregation between blacks and whites, So, the Honorable Empress, now deceased Rosa Parks, she decided in herself that she would no longer subject herself to an ordinance that was established within the district or the community of Montgomery. That was the community which she lived within, So she decided that this morning she wouldn't get up out of her seat and give it to a white passenger for her. That was the customary action within those days. as a black person because it was an ordinance of the Montgomery community. So such ordinance is like a law. When a black person is seated in the bus and a white passenger came in, you would have to get up out of your seat and give that seat onto the white passenger. But for some particular reason, this morning Rosa Parks decided on the 1st of December 1955 that she would not get up. So it sparked a thing that would declare in the modern history as the beginning of the modern civil rights movement. What really happened is that she was seated in the bus and a white passenger came in and she was asked to give the passenger the seat and she refused to. So she was charged. She was dragged off the bus and charged for refusing to give the passenger the seat. My lord.
My lord. And
yeah,
this happened in a time where Marcus Garvey was not in the boldness of his organization, and even the Black Congress was not formally founded. It's like in between. It's a special time.
Congress never founded as yet, but the leader and the founder of the Congress was very active even before that incident. Because as you know, King Emmanuel has been agitating from the 14-man ruling, so from 1948, 40 and 9. The most right honorable King Emmanuel put forward his cause and plead of redemption, freedom, redemption, international repatriation on behalf of the Black House of Israel. So even before the incident took place, Honorable King Emmanuel was very much active, and we know that before that Marcus Garvey was very much up and going, restoring the sense of pride onto the black race of people by showing black people that we had a great history, and we give the world civilization, so we can even create a greater one than that which we give the world. So in that period of time in the United States, you find that in the 40s, coming up to the 50s, the Marcus Garvey movement was kind of like diminishing. Other groups keep rising, more pressing towards civil rights and equal rights within the United States. So Honorable Rosa Parks, she was born in Tuskegee, Alabama, and at the age of 2-year-old, she left Tuskegee and went to live in Pine Level, Montgomery, with her grandparents and her mother and her brother. So while living in Pine Level, Montgomery, the stipulation there, at the age of 11, she was enrolled in an industrial school for girls. And while finishing that school, she was enrolled into the Montgomery Teachers College. But while growing up in Pine Level, she said she grew up with this fear, because at night you'd go to your bed and then you would hear the clans passing through, and you hear people get lynching, and you hear the screaming. So that kind of bring about that fear upon her, knowing that you don't know if your house may be the next house that could be firebombed, or your family could be the next family that could be lynched. So it was a very critical time in the period of black people life in that time, because the segregation between black and white was very high. You find that black people were scanned up and looked down on, were considered good enough to even sit in the same seat that your white opponent may sit in. So growing up in that kind of atmosphere, you grew up with fear, but you also growing up learning to conquer such fear, because even in her interview she said that allow her to become fearless within herself, because after going through all that, you realize that then if you're going cringe under fear, automatically you never really achieve what you're supposed to. So once you make a bold step, it can bring a lot of difference, and that was what she really did, because out of the 1st of December 1955 incident, you find that shortly after that was founded what you call the Montgomery Improvement Association by the Dr. Martin Luther King, who was a young preacher at that time. And out of the formation of that association, he called a strike. A strike was called, or a boycott was called for the bus system, the bus company in Montgomery. So that boycott lasted up to 380 days, roughly a year and a half. It lasted for which, out of that boycott, it led the Supreme Court in America to throw the Ordinance Act of the Montgomery. Therefore, Rosa Parks now was considered a free person because that law, the Supreme Court strike it down. And out of that incident also come the Segregation Act passed, that it is not legal for any segregation to take place on any public transportation. So that was a great turning point in the history of America through what Honorable Empress Rosa Parks did.
My Lord.
My Lord.
And my Lord, she was she was not only a pioneer in civil rights and between the black community, but also she, as a woman, is playing a role that even in those days with the feminism movements, it was no common thing.
Well, as I said, yeah, because you know the concept of the European world from that time. Even a lot of one buying tweet, it normally like salt, put down the woman. So you find the woman now at that time never really have such rights like what was guaranteed to the man. So you find that that's what she did. It really opened doors for even a lot of, it's a feminist groups, but you know, I more classify them as human rights groups who really push for justice and equality on behalf of women. You know, so even I must remember even that before that incident, there was the Human Rights Charter that was established on the 10th of December in 1948. And the first article within the Human Rights Charter is that all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and right, and endowed in reason and conscience, and should act towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood. So it was equality between male and female where the right is concerned through the United Nations. So we have a lot of women now start push forward to such reality. My Lord.
My Lord. We are in an interview with the Honorable Priest James Wayne of the Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress Church of Salvation. My Lord, give thanks for this complete and information and high understanding. We appreciate the high strength toward this program and toward our beloved Black Congress, my Lord.
My Lord, blessed Lord. But to emphasize a bit more on Rosa Parks, because what happened now, she was a part of the NAAC, the National Advancement Association for Colored People, which she said she did a lot of work, you know, she did a lot of field work and stuff, but she never really gets between she and her husband, she didn't get that kind of publicity, right? And you find that she championed a lot of cause, she said, on behalf of flogging and peonage and rape and murder. So apparently her work also now led her to push forward within the world agitation of civil rights on behalf of African people. and you find that she, after 1950 and 7, she leave Montgomery district and went to live in Michigan, Detroit, where she became a part of the staff of the U.S. representative named John Connery, and she also was an annual award was set up by the Southern Christian Leadership Council on her behalf. Well, she stayed in Detroit and she did her work. She lived a humble life, they said, you know. She was awarded the presidential medal in 1996 by President Bill Clinton. And in 1999, she was awarded the gold medal, Congressional Gold Medal. And she said that, you know, they asked her a question, is she happy? But she said happiness is when you have everything that you want. But she contented her, she satisfied, she have to give thanks with what she have and what she has really achieved in just a mere word. And she still was disappointed to see that racism was very much, and segregation was very much still alive in America. You know, so even that took away from her happiness. Her husband died in 1977. And while when her husband died, she founded the Rosa and Raymond Park Institute of Self-Development, wherein she helped young children should normally have a summer program every year where she take the children them around the country, and they would go to certain sites and learn more about their country under the supervision of adults also. When she died in 2005, she was her body was laid she was laid in the Rotunda at the capital, Washington D.C. for 2 days, so that her ones could have paid homage to her. And it is said that she is the first woman to be laid in the Rotunda, because the Rotunda is a place in the capital of Washington D.C. where it always reserved for the presidents of America who died, so their body could be, heard by others. So she is the only woman to have been laid there, and one out of the 2 African persons who has been laid there. My Lord.
My Lord. Glorify my Lord. And yes, she moves in diverse fields, you know.
Yeah.
That's our sample to follow.
A brave action at that time, and it led to a lot of changes within the United States, because it brought about the segregation law to be annulled within the United States. So it opened up another door in the point of history on behalf of black people, because at that moment, at that time, segregation was very much integral within the society, and as a black person, you feel belittled when, you have to travel with other people, and then it's like you're not considered worthy enough to sit within certain position, or if someone come up in a bus, you have to get up out of your seat and give that seat to someone. So, that's what she did, because at the time she was an unknown person, and that was at the age of 42. She was a seamstress. So no one never really know much about Rosa Parks until that moment. This brave woman just decided to take a stand, and it changed her life altogether, and not only her life, but the life of many Africans and many Americans, because it's a really more, you can say it helps to strengthen the African community, but more so within the American society. It gives a new hope, and restore, where I say, a more fearless approach towards your right as a human being within the society of America. My Lord.
My Lord. Give thanks, my Lord, for the high words and the high time. And we will continue with more Nyahbinghi music in this program, my Lord.
Alright, blessed, and give thanks to the moment of interview. Give thanks again, my Lord, our blessing and full joy idea, art of love. Holy Emmanuel, I, last I, Rastafari, my Lord, blessed love.
Bless the Lord, my Lord and Empress, Prince and Princess. Live, we are live. We do give thanks for such mighty opportunity to share the word, son, and power of the Black Christ salvation universally, free, without price, without money. Come on, come all. To this international call of freedom, redemption, and international repatriation. Ethiopia, Rastafari. We continue with it's a fragment of the interview to the Honorable Priest Asukil. We recorded a very interesting and long interview, and we will present fragment of this interview during the series, during different episodes of this series. We will be sharing universally words and power to bring down the walls of Babylon. Ethiopia, Rastafari.
before, they did say we want a church in all 54 states of Africa, you understand? So, as the man say he wants a church everywhere in Africa, right, we have to do statical moves and government and parliament moves in order to make a church stand, you understand? The church can't stand without, because every church in every country, it stands, its building and its structure is in a state. See? So the state being Ethiopia now, the crown head, need to be sorted out, you understand? Ethiopia is also a statical and churchical land. When you look, you see all the settings, all the biblical settings is there. You understand? Once look to the Middle East and talk about Jerusalem and the Holy Sepulchre and all of these things down the so-called Middle East beyond the Jordan. But we know said that the one in the Nile, you know, the one Gishon, you know, that compass the whole of Ethiopia is our history and our story and our glory and where everything starts from, you know. So, civilization come from down the Nile, you know. Out of Abyssinia, Ethiopia, a land where God and God is love to be, you know. So we do give thanks for a triple crown man up that we rule it in three persons, you know, as a prophet, a priest, and a king, you know. Now without the prophet, there is no
bishop,
you know. And without the priest, there is no ceremonial order, and without the king, the nation perish. And the throne of David would not be established in righteousness, you know. So we do give thanks for our God and King Emperor Haile Selassie who sit upon the throne, you know, who glorify forevermore as the Almighty, you know, who sent his begotten Son, you know, Jesus Christ, Emmanuel, Charles Edwards, you know, down to Egypt, Jamaica, you know, to redeem us and every other nation, you know, to his fold, to set every nation under their own vine and fig tree, to set us forward through freedom, redemption, and black international repatriation, you know, to the four wings of creation. For one man voice and power, one man black God of creation. Jehovah, Jah. Rastafari. And I welcome the man works, my Lord, and what the eye can do, you know. And I give thanks, you know, for Black King Net Radio, you know, and the works and even the next radio. I don't know what he's doing nowadays, but even Black Truth Media, Honorable Priest Jaja, you know, all priests, you know, from all walks of life who can set up any network or radio that we could impart our views and our ideas, you know. And through the man says freedom, redemption, and repatriation, you know, at the foundation, I say we'd have to talk about, you know, business and setting up infrastructures and get more business minded. We need to get business minded, you know, as well as be church minded. We have to get business minded because to send a delegation, remember, it's a money word. So we have to get business minded. We have to have franchise, you know, franchise that's going to turn money.
And priest, so
yes, Majesty.
I appreciate, you know, your word sound, and any correction, you know, is welcome.
Yes, Majesty. My Lord, I have nothing to say. All I say, do what he is doing. I try to strengthen it as long as it don't compromise the Congress or go against the Congress. Everything is welcome, my Lord. You know, like we say, I is defenders of the Black King, the Black Emperor. So I give thanks for such radio stations as Black King Net, you know. Like I say, on all other radio stations, the Food of 7 in St. Lucia, the Honorable Priest Jaja, Black Truth Media, you know, and Boba.net, all of these foundations and the media through the internet, we welcome them, you know, as long as they are done right and properly. No one do not have to worry about anyone getting drawn up or any added corrections to anything. The only added corrections or anything would be added to strengthen what's there, you know. We are here to impart information, like I say, Like you hear the man say what you don't hear from one priest, you hear from other. You have something to say what I might not know or speak of, or so you can impart to the foundation to know them thing of what they are to know. So I'm saying we need to get more knowledge of our divine majesty and Haile Selassie, you know. A lot of one know a lot of things of the man because around him, and when they meet ones who was around him, they expound on that. You see, with me now, my stepping stone was, like I says, I was just a Rastafari hailing His Majesty Emperor Selassie before I come to the EABIC. So through Emperor Haile Selassie, why I know this man, because I wasn't there in the era when Garvey did tell us to look for Africa for the crowning of a black king or worship God through the spectacle of Ethiopia. I come and see these speeches or hear ones expounding out there. So I come through the natural mystic blowing through the air, which was even spoken of long before the reggae singer Bob Marley come and sing it. So that natural mystic blowing through the air, through the powers of hailing Emperor Haile Selassie as the Almighty, and even seeing Isaiah, book of Isaiah, and Psalms 87 and Isaiah 9 and these book to Revelation chapter 5, you know. But the part about the Lamb and these things are them that did a baffle me. Because all the while I read about one who sit on the throne, but I said, well, the prophecy don't stop. They said there's one in the midst of the throne that stood like a lamb had been slain. And I said, oh, that. And I go into and I toiling on as a Rastaman and doing EWF works and all these things, but something never right. And I brethren priest bundle I did come out at Tom and start with a turban, and they are try little inspo this other, but he never did a try nothing too firm. So I start looking to things myself till I decide that I'm going to embrace this, you know. And when I look into art, mansions of Rastafari, houses of Rastafari, it's not like a disrespect to say, well, it's better than the Nyahbinghi, it's better than the 12, it's better than the Coptics, it's better than any of the 31 mansions of leaders that did meet the emperor in 1966. It's not a question of being better, it's just that when you observe and you look in the life of Rastafari, it just makes sense that this is the way how a Rastaman should live. This is the way how a person of Rastafari, be they man, woman or child, should worship emperor and give reverence more so than worship, because worship is your daily mood. The word worship really interprets workmanship or workman and womanship, you know. So check the core word worship. Worship is, you know, you work, you watch and you pray, everything you eating is worship, you drinking is a part of your worship. Reverence, we never ever say worship in the royal cause of King David. It is reverence we give unto God. The world has always fed us this word as worship. Worship is everything. Even to converse like this is worship. It's not necessarily direct reverence, you understand? So reverence as opposed to worship is not the same thing, but that is the idea we always fed, that reverence and worship is the same thing. So we give reverence through our worship unto Emperor Haile Selassie I First. As the Almighty, every Rasta did come to that understanding, even our father, right, and King Emmanuel, before he come to this consciousness within himself, through this gate, through this door called Rastafari, was hailing the Emperor as the Almighty, as heavy as a Rastafari. There was a time in the uprising in Jamaica, there was never a house or a people called the Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress, but the Rastaman in general did have them read up. After 1966, through the emperor did come in with the red at the bottom now. One said through that are the way the King of Kings come with it. They never go with it. But when I check the Rastaman in general, I say, so since the Rastaman go with everything, in this unique relationship we have with the emperor. Edit. The emperor is a Christian, but none of you now cut off your locks and I go church and I say, yeah, Ethiopian Orthodox Christian. So, what's the difference now? Why? Because the emperor come with the so-called national flag of Ethiopia with the red turned down. You would just say, that is showing the emperor respect. So, only one man from that time did stay with him red up, and that's the King Emmanuel. I even see Daniel come with some pictures at 66 and some red up banner there with it, even 5-point star, them similar to what we have now, but no lion. I don't think no lion or no crown they dip on them like that, but what it I try to show you, without King Emmanuel, that I never really go to the airport like that, but he watch all the things from the outside. You know, you get a big banner and put cross Spanish Town Road that way there. The emperor was to go a different way, but you end up having to go another banner there, you know. So you red, gold and green, red, black and green from them time there, you know. So King Emmanuel is the only Rasta man from them time to keep him red up and never did bow to turn down, cause him say even though the king have it like that is because even though Ethiopia physically was never colonized by outside invaders, we have people who through literature and these things, you know, manipulate Ethiopia, you know, and infiltrate different religions into Ethiopia, that Ethiopia even have certain foreign religions and foreign concepts mixed up into their Christianity, you know. So Ethiopia today is not the same Ethiopia in Emperor Menelik time or Empress Candace or Queen Makeda or any of those people. No, they don't have that Ethiopia today. Right, we have an Ethiopia where we have Pentecostal Christianity right down there, you know, Seventh-day Adventists. You have clergy want to sell you the biggest face of a white Jesus, you know. So, although we say Ethiopia was never colonized or imperialized, the colonialist ways and images are there now, right? So even this is why we need to really look into ourselves as this Congress and know said that King Emmanuel setting us in the West to bring back Ethiopia to that black divineness, you know, to kick out the white Jesus portrait them and bring us back to the true black Christ portrait, you know, of the prophet, the priest and the king, you know, with the black mama, you know, Empress, Lenin as for Waleti Giga Organs, you know, we do give thanks for such Royal Highness, you know, a monarch, you know, a woman monarch, you know, who crowned even on that glorious day, 2nd of November 1930, side by side of the King of Kings, you know, King Alpha and Queen Omega, you know, Father and Mother of Creation, you know. So we do give thanks for Father Haile Selassie and Mother Haile Selassie, you know. We do give thanks for, you know. Then will the world come and see, you know, 72 nation bow and crown. And it's them we really hail as the Almighty. Even the man, King Emmanuel, who we hail the Almighty through the high priest, through, we do even give thanks that this man come speaking of Haile Selassie as the Almighty in this time. For the Christ in the 20th century going into the 21st century and beyond is the Christ who would come and show us who the conquering Lion of Judah is in this time through a divine priesthood, even through such creed what we say at morning, noon and night today. So we hail our gods, Lastia, Jehovah, Jah, Rastafari.
My Lord.
Yes, my Lord. So you see, we know, say we have a journey, you know, and we journey not end yet, you know. Like the man give with the hymn book and the Bible and say we now go throw it away until we journey end, and when we journey end, we shall sing a new song, you know, where there be no more death, no more sin, no more pain, no more death, you know. So that is the vision, that is the dream, that is the hope, what we must be looking for we can get up, clap, sing, chant every day praises unto the Lord, and know that we don't have to have no more cares about the world again, because we're free and everyone is in one praises. All nations is in one praises under their own vine and fig tree, in one praises. You know, the praise is what King Emmanuel come show us, and the way King Emmanuel come show us to give praises. This is the true church of divine salvation without no bias. I have examined all world religions, the Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam, the Black Panthers, even the present day UNIA, our great fathers, Marcus Messiah Garvey's organization. I have examined them and organized them in doctrine and knowledge. All of the Kemetilians, all of them into Egyptology, all of them who worship Ra, Imhotep, Isis, Osiris, all of them in the Nile Pentila, and all of them in the Nile region, from down to the sons of Noah, to Cush, to Mizraim, to Canaan. These is our fathers, right, who we know of them. It is the glory of this man who come and show us how God should live in flesh, the Right Honorable King Emmanuel Charles Edwards, who did not distract us from the praising of Emperor Selassie the Almighty, but brought our orders to bring us more in tune, in a divine right, in principle, in order, in dignity, in right. It is simple, no matter how you want to go around it and try to belittle it and put it down. Any sound human being who is looking for a clean and upright living in themselves will not throw no scorn on this liberty in the house of Rastafari, with the structure where they call the people wear the robe and turban, and the woman them wear their robes and their Mary falls or their Mary turban, with our young prince and princesses also, and babes and sucklings, who come and hail a man who was born in the parish of St. Elizabeth, who rise as a man, an ordinary man, through all the different franchises of Rastafari, speaking and communicating with his brethren from different house to house, even hearing the so-called founder of the Rastafari movement, Leonard Percival Owen. This man, King Emmanuel Charles Edwards, speak with all of them, from even Bedward, how will all of these great leaders right through all the houses to Bongo Wato of the Nyahbinghi house, Bona G's and the sons of Thunder, that was Bona G's, and Nyahbinghi Elder and Patriarch, and then we have Bongo Tani, and we have Bongo Pedo, and all kind of different elders, and Bongo Marcus, and all kind of different elders from these different mansions, and then you have Brother God of the 12 tribe of Israel, and many, many, many more elders and leaders came up with their different ideas and principles in trying to shape the minds of the people who did hail Rastafari, Emperor Haile Selassie as the Almighty in flesh.
Heart of love to one and all. We have reached the closing segment for this show. Give thanks for the good company and all those who send love through the emails and different communications channels. One heart of love, one heart of love, one aim, one God, one destiny, Ethiopia, Jah, Rastafari. We are glad to be here and we are happy to do this program. Give thanks for the good moment. Holy Selassie, Jah, Rastafari. And stay tuned with the 24/7 broadcasting Nyahbinghi music non-stop. With the voice of Marcus Mosiah Garvey, the voice of King Emmanuel Charles Edwards, the Black Christ in flesh, the voice of Emperor Haile Selassie I. Also recordings with the reading of the principles that govern the EABIC Church of Salvation, the sabbatical golden lesson of Exodus 20 and 31, the Ethiopian international anthem. So tell me what more can Nigos do? For he laid the foundation and opened wide the door. Tell me what more can Nigos do? Ethiopia, Jah, Rastafari, my Lord and Empress. God be with you till we meet again at Nigos Feet next Tuesday at 8 p.m. England time on Black King Net-Radio. I close with 7 words of love. Nigos is love, let us all love. I am the Honorable Priest Frederico of the Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress Church of Salvation.
Black man war. The black industry, black man war. The black factory, black man war. The women's song, black man war. Black man war. The black university, black man war. The black South Africa, black man war. Black man war. Black man war. A cigarette in a tube.